Hi, I'm Kirsten Smith, and I work for a company called Opti-Num Solutions. My background is in biomedical and electrical engineering, and what I'm so excited about today is that Opti-Num started a graduate program and we came across GirlCode, and I actually got to meet Zandile and become friends with Zandile. And I want to introduce you today and really share some of our story about how we're encroaching and embarking on this journey into this field of IT, STEM, and the industries there.
Thank you, Kirsten. It's absolutely a pleasure to be here with you today. So my name is Zandile, and I'm one of the co-founders and CEO of GirlCode. GirlCode is a social enterprise aimed at empowering young girls and women through technology. So looking forward to having this discussion with you.
Awesome. So what we're going to cover today, our backgrounds, our experiences, our shared experiences, being women in technology who became moms recently, some of the challenges we face, trying to be mathematicians, coders, engineers, and moms at the same time, what's challenging about it, and what the benefits are also for the industry of actually having women in it, as well as what's the benefit personally to us being in it. And so I'm hoping that it's going to be valuable for you and that it might encourage you wherever you are in your journey, finding your career, finding your feet, to actually empower you and make you feel encouraged that you belong in this industry. So that's what we're talking about today. What Opti-Num is about, what Opti-Num Solutions does, is we actually partner with our clients to build innovative solutions that empower them to do data-driven decision-making. And we work across a wide range of industries: retail, finance, medical, mining, and that really allows us to do cross-industry sort of problem solving and learn and apply different technologies in different ways. I started out doing software development work across a wide range of different companies. We did transformer design, we did risk modeling in banking, and we did operational monitoring in mines. Then moved into more of the technical sales and marketing side of things and started reaching into academic institutions. So we are the distributor of the MathWorks tools, MATLAB and Simulink, and really reaching deep into those organizations, meeting lecturers of first-year maths courses, meeting researchers, postdocs, building the most incredible solutions. And it kind of like lit this flame for me in terms of really empowering students who are trying to make themselves more employable, like I did, and really reaching into those organizations and enabling them with tools to help them learn, and self-paced online training courses to help them teach themselves. And so that was really powerful. And then I actually had a little boy. I had a little boy and I became a mom. So first I was an engineer, then I was a mom, and my universe was like shifted because now I was a mom. And so he's about 2.5 now. And I actually realized that I think some of the potential that I could have was actually bridging the space between research and technology in academia and the commercial space for project delivery. So as we start bridging those gaps, there are graduates that we need to be employable, to bring those skills in and bring a fresh insight into these problems. But there's also like practical commercial industry problems that also need to reach back into academia and help inform how we're solving problems, what those problems look like. And so that speaks to my current role. So I'm the head of strategic innovation at Opti-Num. And through this path, started the graduate program at Opti-Num and started meeting people like you through some mutual colleagues and friends. And I just since then, it's been, how can we make this partnership more powerful? How can we empower your graduates? How can we bring them into our graduate program? And so that kind of sparked our relationship. Yeah. And so from there, I'm really excited. I'd like to share with the world. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. So I think like I've been on a similar path. So I graduated in 2013, also from WITS, computational and applied mathematics. And really at the time, in fact, I thought I was, going to go work for a bank and do like, like a risk analysis, all of the stuff, MATLAB, I did that, wasn't so good, but I did all of that. But I think my sort of path pivoted, during like my master's year, where I had an opportunity to be part of an internship program. It was for computer science students, but I applied either way, so that's a lesson there, like just apply. Sometimes you might get it. And so after doing the internship, I actually fell in love with technology, and I thought, well, this is amazing. You can build an app that can literally change someone's life. So this is the space that I want to be in. So I started applying to like technology companies, startups, and luckily I had the opportunity to then go work for a tech startup in Pretoria. And it was pretty amazing because I guess being in a startup also allows you to discover yourself. You get to do so many things. There's no defined role. Like you just do whatever that needs to be done. So working with developers, working with business analysts, project managers, meeting stakeholders, seeing how technology, and by the way, the startup focuses on creating technology for government. So you can imagine like, our stakeholders over the public sector, and it was pretty amazing to see like the real impact of technology. But I guess for me, that's also, the same time where I started realizing that the spaces that I was finding myself in, there weren't too many women in those spaces. And I thought, well, maybe I need to do something about it. And I've always been that person. So if I come across a challenge, it's like, what can I do? Even if it's a small thing, what can I do? Because it has to start with you. You can't always be looking for somebody else to save you. And so decided, let me just, ask my then boss and just host a hackathon, invite only women. I literally during lunch breaks would drive to colleges, universities, asking them, please can you invite your students to come to this hackathon, like your female students. And so that was like the birth of GirlCode, right? For me, it was just about solving like that particular problem and creating a space where women can come together and start coding and building stuff in a safe environment where it's just us and there's no judgment. It's like, we're just girls, but this is what we love doing. And so I think that also like just, like the momentum just built up from there. And like the following year, I remember I had people calling me and like, when is the next hackathon? I was like, what do you mean? Like, that was it. Like, there is no hackathon. There's no next anything. But I think, like, at the time, without really knowing it, I had, like, created the perfect solution that was needed. And so I decided, let me just do that. Host another hackathon, and we kind of, kept hosting hackathons for like the next 4 years, which is great because they were growing. It went from like 20 people to 100 people to 3 cities, with over 500, young women participating, to like winning trips to go to Silicon Valley and Amsterdam. I was just like, what is this? Like, this is so amazing. 2019, is when I decided, I'm actually going to quit my job and do this full time. Because slowly it was also like taking over, like, when you wake up and you're thinking about something, you go to sleep, you're at work, but you're like thinking, go. Yeah, I was like, okay, I quit my job and decided I'm going to be an entrepreneur now, I suppose, a social entrepreneur, and build this thing. So it's been like a long, like interesting journey, and 2019 to now has been so much growth. We went from like working at different partner spaces to now being in our very own office and having more students than we've ever had, and actually, I think we're transitioning into being like a full-on academy, like, a GirlCode Academy focused on emerging technologies, which is pretty exciting. But similar to you, I have a son. He's 2.5 as well. And that was an interesting journey for me because I always thought like I'll have kids later on, so So when you came along, I was like, oh wow, now I have to learn how to be a mom, you know. But it's all of those things now that, like, being a woman specifically, like, you don't have to stick to one thing. Like, it's not like career or family. Like, you can have it all. And I think, it'd be interesting to kind of also just get into, like, how do you navigate like that balance of being a mom, being a wife, being, like an entrepreneur in my side, being someone in your position on your side, because there's a lot with that. And I think for a lot of young people looking at us might be thinking, how do you balance all of that? Like, how do you make it work? Because society, I guess, has conditioned us that as a woman specifically, because I've never had men being asked those questions about balance. As a woman specifically, you have to focus on one or the other, which is weird because I think naturally we're good at multitasking.
Yeah,
like women multitask and like can look after and do so many things. So actually, I guess I'm asking you that, like, how do you like navigate that balance? And I'll also touch on my own personal experience.
Yeah, thank you. So it's been such an interesting, challenging, character building journey. I think I was really nervous about becoming a mom and what was going to happen. Like, I studied for many years to be an engineer. Nobody's told me what's going to happen if I'm trying to be an engineer and a mom, a leader and a mom, and what does that look like? And so it was like quite a forming experience, very challenging, but also like hugely defining, I think, in my life, because I almost, going through that process, recognized like the magic of life and creation and my own part in it, and this actual desperate need to make the world a better place for him. Like, and it's not all about him. Like, also, it's not all about him, but like how important a person's life is, and that even my own life matters, what I do with it, and how it almost set a sense of direction in me that, like, I had to do something with my own life. Somebody was my mom, and they turned themselves inside out, to give me everything that's possible. My own mom, everything she did for me, and I just realized that all at once.
Yeah.
And then felt this like need to actually build something new, and it is really tough. I think some things life-changing things that helped me to make it possible is, I have a guardian angel, and her name is Priscilla, and she comes to my house and takes care of my baby child when I go to work. And I'm fortunate to work at a company who allows me to be flexible with my time and to work at different hours. And I then had to work through a phase of learning about boundaries and about not overworking as a mom and not overworking as an employee, and finding my own headspace so that I'm a valuable mom, I'm a valuable employee. And so it's really, I wouldn't say I have it all figured out by any means, but it does get better and easier as it gets bigger. And just recognizing the power of time. I think my whole experience became, you have two handfuls of time, and you basically need to choose what you're going to do with the time that's been given to you. And yes, I want to have meaningful interaction with my son, but I'm not going to stand over him all day long while he's playing in the sandpit. He doesn't need that. Yes. My mom never did that for me, and her mom never did that for her. So I don't need to be that. I'm ready enough just with the two hands that I've got, and what am I going to do with that time? And similarly, at work, I have to be really careful about what I choose to do with my time, and how I use that. And I have to cut back on some things that I was killing myself trying to do that I just don't have capacity for. And learning to say that phrase, like, I understand that you need this, I just don't have capacity for it right now, and learning to make plans for how can that fit in, should it fit in, is there someone else that can help? So that's my journey. No,
I mean, it's the last part I'm still struggling, because I'm the type of person that jumps in, like, okay, this needs to be done, let me do it.
Yeah.
Then I suppose being an entrepreneur and the founder is almost rests on my shoulders, because I'm like, I'm responsible, ultimately for what's happening here. And now I have employees. I have like 8 people whose livelihoods depend on me. So it's a bit scary, and so I'm always like jumping, like, okay, you can't do it, even though it's your job, but it's fine, I'll do it for you.
Yeah.
So I need to learn, to say no, and say no, you have to like manage it, or let's figure out how it works into the grand scheme of things. But being, balancing that also with being a parent it's really tough, I must say. Like, obviously, I want to be there for my son. I want to like see all those moments and all of that. But sometimes it's not possible because work has to be done. So trying to find the right balance of, this is time for me and my son now. Switch off the laptop. And I think COVID made it really, really hard, because suddenly the laptop is on from the moment I wake up to like the moment I'm literally in bed with the laptop, and then just close my eyes and close that, So I think it's still a challenge for me, something that I need to figure out. Because even the other day I was saying, as I was, sitting, I'm like, why is it on? I shouldn't, there's nothing to be done. That I've just gotten so used to something happening on the laptop, that I also have that fear that maybe I'm missing out of spending time with my son. But I think, like you said, it gets better with time, because you start recognizing and saying, okay, no, 5 o'clock, so he's luckily at crash, thank goodness.
Yeah.
After lockdown, that he can go to crash, because during lockdown he was there with you, and he also sees what you're doing, and wants that attention, like, I want to spend time with you. And so I've also recognized that just giving him that time, because kids, they get curious about different things. Like, one thing, he wants to spend time with me, I give him that 5 minutes, and then he's done, then he wants to do something else, So even if I'm in the middle of like working, and he's like, Mommy, let's run around, just stop, run around. 5 minutes, and then he's now gone. He's playing with trucks, or he's doing something else. So I'm trying to be more conscious about that, in how I interact with him. So I think the balance question will always be there, and there's no like right or wrong way. That's the thing. You have to figure out what works for you and for your situation, because it's not all the same. We're not all going through the same journey and the same hardships. But for me, it's living and being more conscious of the moment. I think that's it. Because when you're not, and you're like so like engrossed in work, you forget. Or otherwise, if you like just spending time with the kid, you forget about work. So be conscious of the moment and think about, okay, how do I then just give this moment to my family, and then this, time is for work. Then setting those boundaries, like you said. Like, I think my team, I can attest to this. Is something, again, I'm trying to, like, I'm sending emails at 2 a.m., at 3 a.m. Not that I expect a response at that time, but, I always say, like, I don't like want to work 8 to 5. Like, I just work when things, but that's also a dangerous thing, because also, if your employees or people under you, if you're in the leadership, are seeing, okay, Kirsten is emailing me at 2, maybe I should also be like looking at my computer at 2 o'clock. So now you're breeding like an unhealthy work environment, where now people are scared, like, okay, if the boss is like sending messages throughout the night and I'm sleeping, what if they feel like I'm not giving enough? So I need to learn boundaries. I need to learn to like stop. Like, it can wait for 9 a.m. honestly. My mom always says, you're not in the business of saving lives. Like, she is, she works at like a hospital. So it's like, literally, someone's life is not literally hanging in the balance, and email can wait until the morning. So it's definitely something that I'm navigating, and I'm trying to get better at it, but it's a process, and we're all human. We do our best, and that's really like all we can ask of anyone. And what I'm doing here is Because I guess someday he'll ask, what about the boy child? And I get that question a lot because now I have a son. And I was like, oh, that went off brand. I needed a girl. But no, I think what I'm trying to show him also is that girls are just as valuable, and trying to create a space where they are on equal footing. There's an imbalance now and trying to create the balance, but in the future, what we want is equality. I don't want my son also to not receive opportunities because he's a boy.
Yeah.
A world where it's like, oh no, you're a boy, no, we're looking for girls. So that's another thing. I think with these type of interventions that we need to be careful of, that we're not saying to the boy child that, oh, you no longer need it now. Now it's women's time, because that's also unhealthy.
Yeah.
And so balancing like our interventions and whatever we're working on to make sure that boys are still feel welcome and like, no, you can be part of this. We want you part of it. We just also want to make sure that girls are a part of it. And together, that's like where the magic can happen, right? When you have diverse group of people creating all these amazing solutions. So that's my take on like, like the work-life balance. And something that I'm just learning every day as I go.
Yeah. It's a process, and I don't think any of us get it figured out.
No.
One of the things I've realized is this mom guilt thing is just huge. It's never ending.
Yeah.
It's never enough. But there's also like, you only have one life, and you need to take the opportunities to do what you can, And GirlCode is maybe your other baby and it wakes up at 2 o'clock in the morning. But there's a space, you can only do that for so long.
Yes.
And then maybe it's okay to get some help.
Yeah. No.
And so I'm also learning lots of journeys walked down that road.
Yeah. And for me, I think just on the GirlCode side as well, like, it's easy to sort of look at something that's already at a particular point, and I suppose we are now, we're on a growth point and think, oh, wow, this is great, she's doing amazing, and it's all, roses, but there are a lot of challenges that I've had to overcome to get to this particular point in time. And I'm sure there's still, other challenges we have to face, and I'll have to face as an entrepreneur, as the CEO of GirlCode. But one of the things that surprisingly, being a social entrepreneur that has sort of for a lot of time, given me anxiety or made me almost want to quit is you have that sense of I want to help people, right? This is why I started GirlCode. I want to help young girls and give them opportunities. And I've been disappointed in the sense that the people you want to give opportunities don't take the opportunity. They don't fully like show up when you say here's this, and we've had situations where for example we have a partner like Opti-Num, and you're like, great, graduate program, let's bring them to our offices, let's like have a career day, and we're excited, and like, girls, here's opportunities now, and then people don't show up. And I'm just like, for me that has been so heartbreaking because I work so hard to form the relationship, get you guys to trust us and trust our brand, and say, yes, people are out there and they're looking for opportunities, and then nobody shows up. And then it's like, what, like, are you guys serious? Like, what's happening? And we've been through a couple of that over the years. It's embarrassing. It's horrific. It's you standing there and it's like, there's 2 people, you promised like 100 or 50 people, and there's been an instance where there was literally 5 people, whereas there's supposed to be 50. And, at that point I was like, why am I even doing this? I can just go work, let me just go work in corporate, get my paycheck, like enjoy my life. I've studied, I'm capable, and so I think that's one of the things that, like, if you want to especially be an entrepreneur, just to kind of bear in mind, and also to realize that sometimes, I know we're talking about having more women in tech, and there are a lot of women that want the opportunity, but at the same token, there are other women that don't want to be in tech, and it's okay, it's okay. So we don't have to impose like what we think is a solution on people. So that's something I've just had to, like, one of the challenges I've had to navigate and accept. But also I think it goes with like holding people accountable and us having to pivot. Like in the past we would say, oh, here's free things, free this. But what I realize is when you say something is free, it's almost as if there's no value to it.
Yeah.
And so one of the things we've done is that nothing is free, and that's the reality. Somebody's paying, right? So we're offering scholarships now. So that's very like Opti-Num paid for you to go through this. It's not free, right? You're not paying, but this is a scholarship. So now you're being sort of, I think it changes the mentality that, okay, somebody is giving me a scholarship to learn, as opposed to, oh, it's just free, it's coming from, magic land. So we've had like some of those challenges that we've had to navigate, and think about how do we speak the right language, and how do we start changing, our beneficiaries' mindset also, because you can't blame someone. They've only been exposed to so much. And so we have a responsibility also to show them that, this is, you take an opportunity, you take it seriously, you commit to it. Somebody has put in money, has put in their time. You've been a mentor to our girls, like there's a lot that goes into what is supposedly free. So that's one thing that I just, like, you just need to also, I think generally also in the NPO space or NGO space, we just need to pivot away from saying things are free. I think we'll start seeing a bit more uptake and people really like committing to something when they know that actually there is monetary value. There's like, besides that, there's people who put in the hard work to make this particular opportunity for you. So, just on the challenge topic, I don't know, from your point, like, even dealing with graduates, like, have you come across, challenges dealing with young people that you're trying to like mold and give opportunities to, and then, it doesn't go exactly as how you'd want or expect?
Yeah. So, I very much relate to that because I kicked off the recruitment for the graduate program. And one of the things that kills me is that you'll have like a graduate who's finished their degree, they've studied maths, they've studied engineering, they applied, they got an interview, they come for the first interview, they're awesome. Can you try this task, right? It's a second interview, can you just try this task? It's a coding challenge and a presentation. And when people pull out, it just kills me, because it's like, why are they doing that? Why is it that they don't believe in themselves? Do they not believe that it's possible? They have cold feet. And so maybe I'll ask you the question, what do you think, if you had to tell someone, what are the benefits of being a woman in IT or STEM? What are they?
Yeah, so, and we've had similar things, right, where like someone who's really talented just drops out, because they don't believe in themselves and they think, no, actually, maybe I'm not good enough. But like, this is such an amazing industry. Like, I always say technology is not one industry, right? Everything like now is technology. Technology is in every industry. And so we need diverse people in that spaces. We need women's voices, because our experiences, our lived experience is very different from a man. And there's solutions that we could come up with that a man can't. Like, that's just how it is. And so when we don't have women in those rooms, when solutions or innovations are being created, then we end up with solutions that, inevitably like exclude women. And so for me, I always say, like, you have something to say, you have a perspective, you have lived knowledge that nobody else has. And so we need that. We need that brain of yours. We need your thinking and how you see the world to be part of technology and to create things that, nobody else can think of, like, because nobody else has been through that. So I would say it's amazing for me that what we create, like a piece of code, can literally change people's lives. So I always tell, how powerful that is, how powerful you are, for being able to do that. And so don't don't be, I think women have, and I don't know if it's a societal thing or something we need to start changing from a young age, like the confidence issue. Not being confident enough in your skill set and your knowledge. And it talks to them the imposter syndrome, when you walk into rooms where you, like you said, you have the degree, you've got the knowledge, you've been through so many hurdles to get there. And so why now do you feel like you're not good enough? And that's something we need to kind of look at, because I think being a woman in this space is like a superpower. Like you can literally change people's lives. So I encourage like a lot of young girls, and that's of course why GirlCode exists. Like we are saying that you are just as capable as your male counterparts. You are, just as talented, just as skilled. So like show up for yourself, show up 150% for yourself, because we are here as GirlCode showing up for you. So now it's in the the ball is in their court. That I love being in the space. I love, being in technology, and it's changing so much that you can't really get bored with it, because there's always new innovations coming out. And so if you want to be in a space where you're constantly innovating, this is the space for it. And I think women are perfect for it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You're an inspiration, really. Inspire me talking to you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I guess maybe we can close with one last question, which is just, what have the benefits been for you personally to be in this industry? Rather than another one?
No, definitely. I think for me personally, one, right now everybody is aware of how much we need women. So I think I'm like right at the perfect, time to be a woman, in the technology space, because everybody's so receptive, and that's the amazing thing. Like I'm actually not coming across walls. Like as soon as I speak to people and tell them what I do and why I do it, doors are opening. And so I've been blessed in that regard because of that, and because of people being aware now and saying, yes, we need diversity, yes, we need more women in the space. Opportunities are like coming at us left, right, and center. And I know, like, being an entrepreneur, that's a rare thing to say, but we've had such amazing growth. And even now, some of the partnerships that are coming through for us, it's just going to like propel us to the next stage. And so I love what we do. I love the impact it has. I love that, someone that's studying in South Africa, a skill set that's needed globally can end up working. And we have 8 girls actually that are working in the UK. They came all the way here to recruit them. And so the skill set doesn't limit you. Like, like other industries, maybe it's just something that only South Africans, or in South Africa it's needed, but this is a skill set needed globally. The stats, like, there's so much opportunity. The stats are there. They say that we need more skilled tech people. And so this is the best industry to be in and have the skill set, because that means that the world's your oyster. You can literally go and live anywhere in the world and you are guaranteed to find employment. So that's how I love it, that's how I love being in the space. And I just love seeing our young girls coming out of GirlCode excelling and grabbing opportunities, not just in South Africa, but globally as well. Yeah.
Amazing. Wow. Well, thank you so much for sharing that, and thank you for sharing it with me. I really found this so valuable personally, and I hope that other people can be encouraged by us and about your message, about what's possible, and carving a new way forward.
Yeah, no, definitely. Thank you so much, Kirsten, for this. We are here to change the status quo, and we always love it when we have partners, such as yourself, such as Opti-Num, that really go above and beyond to help us reach our vision and to help us move forward the mission that GirlCode has. So it's been a pleasure. Like I said, it's amazing to work and have engagements with women that are in the space that I'm in. So you're doing amazing, and we absolutely love your support. So thank you for that.
Awesome. Pleasure.
Great. Cool.